So first thing I tell students, first day of class, is that they will be treated as if they were in my university course, and that's the way it is every day.
On the first day I say, I will treat you as I do my college students, and I expect you to meet that level of expectation. And every year they do.
Giving them this college experience is the best thing for them, because when they're freshmen, they won't have to go through all of the downfalls that a majority of the freshmen I deal with have all semester long.
So at the University of Texas at Austin, I've really enjoyed teaching business honor students for a number of years, while my position at UT at this really well-known public institute really hinges upon great research. Here, teaching high school students really hinges upon great teaching. You really need a lot of interaction, and these courses, because they're 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, you don't want to sit there and lecture like you would at a normal college lecture hall where you have hundreds of students who just file in and file out. You may never even get to know their name, but here it's very intimate. You know every student within the first hour.
They're intellectually bright. They are diverse in every possible way, ideologically, racially, culturally, economically. So they're very, very bright. They're very, very diverse. And they still believe that government can be a force for good in the society.
You really expect these students to go on and be people in their community that are going to be important individuals. I've had so many students here at Junior State. Some of them are RAs. There's some serving right now assisting me that were students of mine.
I had Professor Atkinson as a student, and now finishing my first year at University of Michigan Law School, I get to help the students this year in constitutional law.
Professor Atkinson is notorious for being a really hard professor. He was my professor when I was at Georgetown, and he teaches constitutional law. He's an expert in constitutional law.
There was one student I know, she was very shy, and she said, well, everybody's asking questions. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know if I know enough. And eventually she got within herself the extra information, and she started asking question after question. And when she got the highest grade on the midterm exam, it just seemed to change her confidence. And she just became such a strong presence in the classroom. And we became close friends. She attended Georgetown University. She actually became the president of the student union here. And she's now into the Georgetown School of Foreign Service, and still we communicate. And she always tells me, I remember in your class how shy I was, and now after just being at JSA in your class around all of those students with so much knowledge, how that competition helped me to develop as a student and as an individual.
The camaraderie amongst my students is very nice because it's like a family. They study together. They critique one another on a regular basis. They're harder on each other than I am.
Well, one of the reasons that I enjoy coming back to JSA is because of the students. From my perspective as a teacher, it's very rewarding to see them come in and how much we really can get done in the short amount of time that they're here. I use quite a bit of film in my classrooms, and I show them Inconvenient Truth and different movies and have them critique the arguments, and I've seen them be able to grab onto the vocab that we use in the class to offer more sophisticated critiques of public speaking situations.
Constitutional law is different because constitutional law is a challenge even for the university student. It's usually taught using the Socratic method, which is what I do. So students aren't used to being questioned in class, they're used to being lectured to. And so every student, this is usually a first for them. It takes a little getting used to. Most of the students are good at talking, and so they end up enjoying it. If they're non-talkers, they end up, this frequently happens to me, they'll come up afterwards and say, before this course I often didn't speak out in a class, now I want to. And you know that they're going to be the ones that are going to be noticed in the university environment when they get there.
Because I tell my JSA students, as I tell my students at Howard, my job as your professor doesn't end once the session ends. Many of you want to go to college. If you need a recommendation, I'll happily do it. So we continue to communicate afterwards.
I've written literally hundreds of letters of recommendation. Most of my students end up going to some of the finest universities and then eventually law schools in the United States. And I've been very, very proud of them.
No matter what their major is going to be at the university level, this is going to come in handy.
And so in and out of the classroom, they're learning a whole lot about life skills, time management, study habits themselves, what interests they might have, what majors they might want to pursue, and what futures they ultimately want to have.